Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. So this channel, Every Data Science, is all about trying to learn the different concepts involved in data science by practicing a lot of questions. In this video, I'm going to solve this question on LeetCode regarding rising temperature and try to walk you through how we can develop solutions to such problems. The difficulty level of this question is easy, and this question has been asked in Amazon as well as Adobe interviews over the past 6 months. Okay, let's jump right in. We are given a table called weather with three different columns: ID, record date, temperature, ID being the primary key for this table. This table contains information about the temperature on a certain day. We are asked to write a SQL query to find all dates ID with higher temperatures compared to its previous dates, that is yesterday. The order of the result does not matter, right? So let's go through this example, right? So here we have all the record dates one after the other, right? So basically 1st of January 2015, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, etc. So obviously which all on what all dates the temperature was more than the previous days. So here, right, so this date 2nd of January it was more, then 3rd it was not, like it was lesser, and then for 4th it was more than the 3rd. So basically these are the 2nd of January and 4th of January are the dates which has temperature higher than their previous dates, right? So the IDs are 2 and 4, and that is what you should have in the output. Okay, so to solve this question and to generate the query for this, right, what we can do is we can create a fourth column and basically use the lead and lag kind of functions, that window functions that we have in SQL, to basically try to find out, okay, what was the temperature previously, right? But if you think about it, here the record dates are given like every date is one day after the other, right? So like it's consecutive. But it is possible that, let's say, we have our after this 4th of January 2015, you have, let's say, 6th of January 2015, and let's say the temperature was 40. So should that be included? Because if you just use the lag or lead part, so obviously 40 is greater than 30, right? So but that should, that ID 5 or 6 or whatever ID is associated with that 6th of January 2015, should that be in the output? No, because yesterday's days for 6th of January is going to be 5th, right? And you don't have data for that, so you cannot return the ID belonging to 6th of January, right? So if you think about it, even though this question looks easy, but it is not that straightforward as you might be thinking in the first go, right? Okay, let's start building this, right? So from this table called weather, let's return all the three columns, right? And now we need to make sure that we generate certain columns so that our logic of checking two things, right? The temperature should be greater than the previous one, right? The previous day, and you need to make sure that the temperature that you are checking is of the previous day and not some days before the day you are checking, right? So let me just write this and like it will be more clear. So let's say we need to find out, okay, so we have the ID, record date, and temperature. Let's say we want to find the yesterday's date. So like for each of the date, right, what is the one day before this, irrespective of like whether it is present in this table or not, because it is going to help us understand, okay, what is actually the date when we say yesterday, right? So we can use the function date add, right? And then on in this record date column, right, what we are going to do is basically add minus one day, basically one day before, right? So interval minus one day, and let's alias this as yesterday's date, right? Okay, now the second thing is we also need to find out that what is the previous date recorded in this table, right? So let's say we are going to use the lag window function. So lag, what it does is basically you can tell how many rows before the current row you want to get that data for, and for which column you want that, and it is going to get that, right? So for example, I want to get one row before the current row from the record date column, right? So lag record date, and since this is a window function, you always need to write the over clause for a window function, and you order by record date, right? Because you need to order by record date in ascending order so that you are going to get the previous ones. And let's alias this as previous record date, right? So now why did we do two things, right? So why won't it work for on using just this one, right? Because here in this particular example it will work, but again, as I was mentioning, if you take 6th of January 2015, right? So what will it will find? Okay, so for 6th of January, what is the lag one? So it will find, oh okay, nice, 4th of January 2015, but that is not yesterday. That is why we need to do these both, right? Okay, so once we have this, and then finally we need to find out the previous temperature, right? So similarly employ the same thing, lag from the temperature column. Since this is a window function, you write over order by record date in ascending order, and let's alias this as previous temperature, right? Okay, let me run this. This is not yet complete, but let's see if we are getting what we are, trying to get. Okay, so we have, okay, so for first one, right? So for 1st of January 2015, the temperature is 10. And then what is the yesterday's date on 1st of January? It is going to be 31st of December 2015, right? 31st of December. And then why is it null and null? Because there is nothing before this, right? So that is why one row before the current row you have null, but if you look at the second part, right, so you have 2nd of January 2015, the temperature is 25. The one day before this, that is yesterday's date, is going to be 1st of January 2015. This is 1st of January 2015, basically the yesterday's record date, right? And what was the temperature, right? So you get this. Now what we can do is we can store this in a common table expression with CTE as, right? And then what we need to do is from this common table expression only keep those rows where yesterday's date is equal to previous record date. Why? Because it is making sure that, okay, in the table that you have, in the weather table that you have, your previous or the day before, just before today, is equal to the yesterday's date. That is, it actually is yesterday and not some days, some 2, 3, 5, 10 days before today, right? Because we need to find out the IDs of the dates with higher temperature compared to previous dates, right? And once you make sure that the previous record date in the weather table is actually yesterday's date, then you are also going to check that the temperature, that the current temperature is greater than the previous temperature, right? So since we have already made sure using this line of code that the previous record date in the weather table is indeed yesterday's date, so then when we are saying temperature greater than previous temperature, it means that we are checking for higher temperatures compared to its previous dates, right? So once we have this, then what do we need in the output? We just need the IDs, right? So return ID. And since we don't need to order this by anything, so this looks good. Let me go ahead and run this to see what happens. So yep, this is accepted. Our output is same as expected output. Let me go ahead and submit it to see if it passes all the test cases. So yep, this passes all the test cases, and this is how we do it. Again, very simple question, but it is not as straightforward as you might think by just reading this question. It is not direct application of lag, and you can do the same thing with lead as well. Let in the comment section how or what the solution will look like if you are using lead instead of the lag window function. But yeah, you cannot do it only with lag or lead, or you might have to come up with some other logic, which makes sure that yesterday's date is indeed what you have in the weather table, right? So yeah, this is how we do it. Let me know in the comment section below if you can think of a more better way or a more efficient way to solve this question. Let the solution be in the comment section below. And until then, I will see you guys in the next video.